3 days ago, the Knicks were getting ready for a game 6. Right now, 2 wins away from a historic comeback and a trip to the NBA Finals. The team, the franchise, the Mecca was all back. And then 3 days later, the dysfunction has reared its ugly head and entered the building, and everything is now in shambles with the New York Knicks. They lose game 6. They were eliminated. There was reports that Leon Rose had given a vote of confidence to Tom Thibodeau, and now 2 days after that report, he's fired. And it has James Dolan's fingerprints all over it. Because nobody disputed the report that Leon Rose gave a vote of confidence to Thibodeau and that he was going to be back for another year. And quite frankly, he deserves another year. I mean, firing the man who brought you to your first Eastern Conference Finals in 20 years, in 25 years, brought you 2 wins within the NBA Finals, 3 days later, is fired, is the most Knicks thing ever. And it's not the most Knicks 2025, 2024 Knicks thing ever. It's the most 2018 Knicks thing ever. Most 2017 Knicks thing ever. When James Dolan had his hands in everything. No one even was thinking about James Dolan the last couple months. Usually he's the head story, right? He's kind of sunk back in. He let the brain trust do their job. For once, for the first time in a quarter century, for the first time since he's owned the team. He let the guys do their job. And look what happened. The Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. And now they lose. And there's a vote of confidence from the brain trust, Leon Rose. Vote of confidence. The players love him. You saw what happened when they asked Brunson up there after the game. Brunson got pissed off that he was asked the question about if Thibodeau was the guy to lead this team going forward. He said that's ridiculous. Of course he is. Got a vote of confidence from Leon Rose. And then 3 days later, he's out of a job. And the Knicks are looking for a coach. Like, well, just when you're getting good. Just when they're finally, the Mecca is back. The Knicks are back. The city loves the team. They own this city for the last 2 months. Dolan comes kicking in like the Kool-Aid man through the wall and says, nah, we either win the championship or the coach goes, and the coach is gone now. He deserved another year. Was he the best coach in the league? No, he's not the best coach in the league. Did he get everything out of this team that he could have? I think so. Every year that he was here. This team was not an NBA champion team. This team was probably played over their head to get there. They were lucky. I'm not going to say they were lucky to beat Boston. But Boston's a better team. Cleveland's a better team. Yeah, they both got eliminated. That happens. That's what sports are. But to say that this year was a failure, and I get it, you want to win a championship. Everybody wants to win a championship. But sometimes you're not there yet. Sometimes you have to have a season like this one to get you over the hump and to win a championship. It's not Tom Thibodeau's fault that Brunson is 6 foot tall and can't play good defense. It's not Thibodeau's fault that Karl-Anthony Towns is soft, never wins anything, never makes a big shot in a big spot. It's not his fault. Tom Thibodeau, maybe the knocks on him where he plays his starters too much. He leaves his starters in. He's a defensive coach, but listen, you're not getting any better defense out of these guys. This is what it is. What it is. The problems were Karl-Anthony Towns is soft. He's not as good. He has potential to be a great player, but he's not. There's a lot of people in this league and in all leagues that have the potential to be great players, and they just don't do it because they're either soft or their head's not in it or they don't care enough. Whatever it is, it's not the coach's fault. Brunson, you get everything out of Brunson. He gives you 130%, 200% of everything that he has every time he's out on the court. And he's the best point guard since Walt Clyde Frazier that the Knicks have had. It's not Thibodeau's fault that Mikal Bridges basically came over here and they traded away 4 first-round picks for a role player who scores 8 points a game and is a so-so defender. That's Leon Rose that did that. I'm not saying they were bad moves. The Mikal Bridges thing has turned out to not be good. But Thibodeau didn't make that deal. And I get it. You can't fire the players. You fire the coaches. But this guy, I mean, he just brought you to the Eastern Conference Finals. You haven't seen anything like this from the Knicks in a quarter century. This was an excellent job he's done. He won Coach of the Year in 2021. And now, all of a sudden, now it's championship or bust. The dysfunction has reared its ugly head. James Dolan is the dysfunction. We knew he was the dysfunction because look what happened. The second he pulled back and got out of the way of the people who are actually basketball people, the Knicks had a ton of success. Back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time in 25 years. Eastern Conference Finals to the second round the 2 years before that. They would have been further last year if they didn't just all get hurt in Game 7, which is, again, not Thibodeau's fault. What could he have done differently? Well, let's start there. What could Thibodeau have done differently with this team to make them win 2 more games and get to the finals? Because if he gets to the finals, you can't fire him, right? You can't get rid of the coach if he goes to the NBA Finals. That's only 2 wins, 2 more wins. I'm shocked. But I shouldn't be. We shouldn't be shocked, right? Why should we be shocked? James Dolan's always been the owner. He stepped back. He wanted to get his hands. Now he sees, we got some success. Let's kill it. Let's ruin it. We can't have success. This is why you can't have nice things, Knicks fans. This is why you can't have nice things. It's James Dolan. And it's the same thing that the Jets got with their owner. It's the same thing the Cowboys got with their owner. And what's the one thing that all these guys have in common? Their teams never win. Cowboys haven't won anything in forever. The Jets never win anything. And the Knicks never won when Dolan was sitting there front and center at every game, arguing this and that, making himself the news, picking the coaches himself, picking the players. He's not a basketball guy. He's a businessman. And I get that you want to have your say in it. And listen, the final decision on anything, of course, is James Dolan's. Of course it is. He's the owner. He's got to sign off on anything. That's just like anywhere, and it is what it is in life. But for Leon Rose to give the vote of confidence and to let it get out there in the public, and then for 3 days later, they fired Dolan. They fired Thibodeau. That's the owner coming down going, why'd you give him a vote of confidence? We lost. We didn't accomplish anything this year. And this is what happened when the Knicks were losing and they were dysfunctional and they were the laughingstock of the league. Because now people are looking at the Knicks right now and saying, you got to the Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Knicks got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they fired the coach, and they're laughing at you. Who are you going to get now? Who's going to coach this team? You got somebody better than Thibodeau? The players love him. First thing first one that went on X and said something was Hart. And he just put up forever grateful. You know Brunson loved him. Brunson was pissed off that the reporter even mentioned it. So nobody was thinking it. And there's no way they went into those meetings and was like, let's get rid of him. Not a chance. He got everything he possibly could have out of this team every year that he was the coach. His first year, 2021, coach of the year. Played much, much better than they could have imagined. The last 2 years, 50 wins. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. He's got a record that is 50 games over 500 in 5 years. 226 and 174. Just made it 2 games short of the NBA Finals. Then got a vote of confidence from the Leon Rose, Brunson, and 3 days later, out of a job. got to be Dolan. Who else could it be? Who else could it be? And now he's sticking his nose in it, and that's when the Knicks are dysfunctional. And you know what? There's nothing anybody can do about it because he's the owner of the team, and he can do what he wants, and that's fine. But get ready, because you thought you were on the upward path, Knicks. If Dolan's going to do this, and he's going to step in and screw this thing up that Worldwide West and that Leon Rose have built here in the last 3 years, then you're going to start heading downhill again. You've hit the apex. This team wasn't a championship team. This team shouldn't even have been in the NBA Finals. This team shouldn't have been in the conference finals. Just 2 weeks ago, we were saying if he gets through Detroit, okay. Can't lose to Detroit. If they lost to Detroit, I was all for it. Then you can fire him. And then you go and you have a historic upset with great comebacks. This team had some heart. They played for Thibodeau. They played hard for him. They didn't quit on him. Listen, they got beat by a team that played better. You blew a 14-point lead in 2 minutes in game 1. They lost game 2. Now, I think that, listen, the way they played at the Garden in these playoffs is an issue. It's a problem. But to say that he did a bad job, and to say that they can't be 2 wins better, and to fire the guy who has had the only success that the Knicks have had in 30 years is terrible. And it's something that a laughing stock franchise does, and that's what the Knicks are today now. They went from, wow, they came from nowhere. They're back. The Garden is back. The Knicks are back. They ran this city for 2 months. Nobody was talking about the Mets, the Yankees. The Rangers weren't in it. The Islanders weren't in it. So Soto was slumping. Soto's been slumping for 3 months. And you didn't hear much about it. Partly because they were winning, but big partly because the Knicks were on a run that we haven't seen in 30 years. City fell in love with them again. They played hard for Thibodeau. He was highly successful. And then they fire him. They give him a vote of confidence 3 days later, cut his legs out beneath him and fire him. And now we'll see what the backlash is. I mean, to me, it's classic dysfunctional Knicks. Now, as far as the list of who's going to get the job, and now let's see what happens now. Because if Dolan goes in and has his hands in the hiring, like I said, he's always going to have the last decision. He's always going to sign off on it. He's the owner. It is what it is. But good functioning franchises that function correctly and work correctly, the owner lets his people, his brain trust, do their job. Their job, they're basketball people. Their job is to pick basketball players and basketball coaches. Dolan runs a cable company, and he owns the team. Dolan doesn't know how to pick basketball players and basketball coaches, and we all think we know how, but we don't. And listen, Leon Rose, they made some mistakes. Up until these playoffs, I would have said, okay, the Mikal Bridges thing was not a great move. It's not looking like a great move. But everything else they touched has turned to gold with the Knicks. They've been incredible putting this team together. Team competing for a championship. The New York Knicks. It's a whole generation of Knicks fans that never even heard those words, let alone see them play these big playoff games like this. So now who we go? To be honest with you, I'd go outside the box. I go to Jay Wright and I'd throw a blank check at him and I'd say, your guys, come and coach you guys to an NBA championship and tack it on to the national championship that you won at Villanova. The national championships that you won at Villanova. And complete the Nova Knicks and get Jay Wright in here. He's still, he's not young, but he's not old. Get him in here, coach your boys. Take us to a championship. I guarantee that's not going to happen. And it's already said that Jay Wright might not want it. But how could you not? Dolan throws a blank check at him. It's his team. It's his guys. We know he's a hell of a basketball coach. I think he would want. I mean, to me, you want to take your shot in the NBA, right? That's just me. The consensus pick, and listen, I think maybe Dolan wanted this guy. Johnny Bryant is who everybody seems to think is going to get the job. He was a Knicks assistant. He was with the Knicks. He left them to go to Cleveland this year. He was an assistant coach. He worked with Thibodeau. He worked with these players, except for Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, because this was their first year, and he left. He was in Cleveland, did a hell of a job in Cleveland. Now it's reported that he's the top guy, the top candidate for the Suns job. Maybe the Knicks saw that was their guy that they had their eye on, and that they might lose him to the Suns. We got to quickly fire Thibodeau and call him and get him in here for an interview. Do you want to come home and coach? You know, he's become a big candidate, but he's never been a head coach in the NBA before. So you really don't know. Jay Wright has been a head coach. He's coached these guys to multiple championships. He's a New York guy. He's great. He loves the Garden. New York is a Villanova town. Big East. Second on the list that I think that people are saying Kenny Atkinson. Listen, I'm not thrilled with any of these names. I would much rather Thibodeau. And for nothing else, just for what he brought this team and this franchise this year, how do you not give him another year? Or at least let him go into the year. And if they start stinking it up and they can't play defense and they're losing games and they get off to a slow start, you could change the coach. But how do you not let him come back after taking you 2 wins from the NBA Finals? The team that was a laughingstock. And like I said, there's no official word that it's Dolan. There's rumors out there that Dolan was in those meetings, that it was different than it usually is at the end of the year. They brought these players in individually. Then at the end of that process, they decided to go in a different direction from Tom Thibodeau. He has not commented yet. But I mean, what is he? He's got to be furious, right? What the hell did you want me to do? This team made it as further than nobody saw Eastern Conference Finals this year. It was okay. Can we win the first round, get to the second round? Now, when the playoffs, when the positions, the standings shook out and everything was done, okay, we're gonna get Boston second round. It's probably it, right? Can't beat Boston. And people who told you that they were going to beat Boston probably don't know what they're talking about. And they went out there and they beat Boston. 2 games at home, 2 games on the road they won. First 2 in Boston with wild, great defensive plays. Like, this team does not play defense. And I've been bitching and moaning about it. They have to improve on defense. They need more defenders. They need more depth. But with these guys, and if I ran through the names on the roster, it's not an NBA champion. And it's certainly not Tom Thibodeau's fault that it's not an NBA champion. This was just a year that was part of the process of becoming a champion. Very rarely do you get teams that just come out of nowhere and win a title after they've never made it past the first round. This was the first year this group was together. They've never played together. They revamped this team after last year. Completely revamped. Got rid of DiVincenzo. They got rid of like 3 of the 5 starters. This team was together for the first time this year, produced a 50-win season, beat a pesky Detroit team, beat the Boston Celtics, the defending champion Boston Celtics, and then took the Indiana Pacers to 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. They gave a vote of confidence to the coach, and then 3 days later, you're fired. The Knicks, The dysfunctional Knicks are back. And let's see what Dolan has to say. He's not going to say anything. Dolan's going to, you're not even going to hear from him. He's going to put out a written statement that he didn't even write. It's going to be just full of, PR and cliches. And we want to win a championship. We're all for our fans. We listen to them. It's garbage. How about you listen to the people you hire? Why bother hiring them? Why spend all this money paying them? Leon Rose didn't want this. He didn't want this because he gave him a vote of confidence just 3 days ago. And Brunson, and the players loved him. Josh Hart is coming out on Twitter saying forever grateful. Brunson was appalled at the reporter for even asking the question about whether he'd be back next year. He was like, what, are you serious? Did you even watch what we did over the last 6 months? Am I sitting here at a press conference in the Eastern Conference Finals and you're asking me if the coach is going to be fired? Next question. Well, 3 days later, coach was fired. Dolan. And he could hide behind Leon Rose and them all he wants. We're not stupid. I know he might think we're not stupid. We know, you could see this a mile away that it has James Dolan's fingerprints all over it. It took all of an hour after the word came out that he was fired for people to be like, oh, wait a minute, this looks like it's James Dolan's doing. Then the meetings thing came out from Ian Begley. Now it's gaining speed as it rolls downhill, and Dolan is going to be the culprit. I'm interested to see what Tom Thibodeau says. He's kind of a no-nonsense guy. He doesn't need to mince words here. He might be done coaching. He's in his 60s. He'd get another job if he wants. I don't know if he wants one. I want to hear from the players. I want to hear from Brunson. As far as Bridges goes, listen, the Leon Rose is responsible for Bridges. Traded away 4 first-round picks for one less than mediocre year, and now Bridges, either they're going to sign him long-term, which he probably doesn't deserve long-term. You're probably better off without him, or let him walk into free agency, and then you just traded 4 first-round picks for one mediocre year of a player that was Karl Anthony Towns is soft. He's not a winner. Never won anything anywhere. And you're stuck with him. He's not getting any better. He's not going to get better. Brunson is a great player, and he's a great Knick. He needs somebody else. Brunson can't be the guy, the only guy. Not big enough. He's not good enough. He's bad on defense. And that's not even a knock on him, because he's a great Knick, and he gives you a 1,000,000% every time he's out there. And he thinks he could be the guy. And that's what you want. He thinks he could. I don't need anybody. Give me the ball, put me on the court, I'll win you something. I'll win you a title. That's what Jalen Brunson thinks. That's what you want players to think. It's not necessarily true, but that's what you want him to think, and that's the way he thinks. And now that Thibodeau's gone, you would imagine that Brunson's father, who's an assistant coach on the team, is also gone. So now, does that create a rift? The whole thing just stinks. And it's just the Knicks being the Knicks that we all hate. Let's hope that, they're not going to hire Jay Wright, but I think it'd be perfect. I think it'd be perfect. They're going to end up with probably Johnny Bryant, the guy he was the assistant. He's got ties to the organization. Dolan apparently likes him. That's who you're going to get. Guy who's never coached in the NBA before. Keep that in mind. Coming on to an Eastern Conference Finals team now that says we better win championships. Oh, the Knicks were so close, folks. So close. And now it feels like they took a couple steps back. We'll see. Knicks fire Tom Thibodeau 3 days after losing in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. They can tell you all they want that they came together as a team, as a franchise, and made this decision together. But the buck stops with James Dolan. He's the owner. And it has his fingerprints all over it. From the Brian Gunzel Studios, I'm Bob Walters. See ya.